to announce to you that Operation Epic Fury has now reached its highest level. I don't know what or how much more we would have to climb the escalation ladder, but a lot is going on right now. Even as we are speaking, the United States forces and Israeli forces, they've just bombed southern Beirut. And according to information, the blast is so loud that the entire population of Beirut can actually hear the sound. That is not all. As we speak, Tehran is currently under heavy strike. As we speak, 7 refueling tankers are currently from the coast of Israel. They are currently going towards Iraq because the Iraqi Shias just launched a strike against Israel. So this war is climbing some unprecedented level of escalation. Now, this is where Africa comes in. I think right now, for me, the best thing for Africa would be to mind their business. In fact, based on what I am seeing, I think this is the time for Africa to have a sober reflection. I think this is time for Africa to kind of retrace their steps. I'm talking about look at the mistakes you've made, kind of redefine your foreign diplomacy. I think this is time for Africa to start thinking. But no, they didn't do it. Africans are made differently. What are they doing right now? The leaders in Africa are currently picking sides. They are currently the leaders in Africa are currently choosing side as we speak. A sort of escalation that could go to a level that we don't imagine. And I feel like, and I still believe that the best way is for us to mind our business. But we have a breaking news, okay? The pro-United States and pro-Israeli side have now criticized Iran from Africa. Yeah. They are criticizing Iran that the actions of Iran is against international law. That what Iran is doing is against humanitarian laws. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somaliland. Oh man, I pity Somaliland. I pity them I don't know what language I'm going to pity Somaliland in. But these 3 countries, right? They've openly criticized Iran. A conflict that is not your business. Now they are making it their personal business. I understand the fact that some of these leaders are proxies. Okay, they are selected, they are proxies. So now they are condemning Iran, that the retaliation is uncalled for. So we live in a world where international law states that as long as it's US and Israel, you slap me, I'm not supposed to retaliate, right? We just want to be fair, okay? Then South Africa and Senegal, they have condemned the actions of Israel and the United States. And they said, based on international law, it's not right. Then 2 other countries have called for restraint. Nigeria and Ghana have called for restraint and de-escalation of the conflict. The African Union have called for an immediate de-escalation. I know that, look, when it comes to the continent of Africa, we are all talks. We are all talks. They don't have what it takes to de-escalate anything. Okay, this is a breaking news. US and Israel strike armed factions in Iran. Serious strikes are going on right now. And we've entered a new phase. What do I mean by a new phase of this conflict? Okay, even though the African Union has spoken, their speech is for nothing. Nobody is going to answer them, because I'm talking about, I think right now we are looking at the beasts in the jungle. They are doing their thing, and everybody should just sit back and watch. Whichever side you belong to, we've been able to find out in this war that Iran as a country, Iran, as I'm telling you right now, if Iran makes it out of this conflict militarily, I don't know what is going to be left. But if they come out of this conflict alive and they can maintain half their capacity going into the conflict, Iran will be a military superpower. Look, Iran will be a military superpower. I have never seen what I am seeing in Iran. I have never seen it before in this lifetime of my lifetime. One country against how many? One. God, goodness. One country. So, as of now, let's forget the theories. They are currently hitting Lebanon as we speak. Now there are fights going on in Lebanon. I mean, boots on the ground. Israeli boots are on the ground in Lebanon, and they are exchanging fire. According to the information, the Lebanese forces are blowing tankers. The Lebanese forces, based on the contact on the ground, they are coming out on top, unfortunately. Now, personally, I don't think the IDF, I don't think they have that. They don't really have that cojones. If it's the US Marine, we might be having a different conversation. But I don't think the IDF is like that. So the Lebanese forces on the ground are coming out on top. If the IDF is going to come out on top, or based on the ground negotiation, I think they need an area cover. Anything outside that, the Lebanese forces will destroy anything in that place. So that is a situation. Now, this is a conflict that can go to any level. And don't forget, the Middle East is very close to Africa. I don't know why the president of Kenya will be condemning a certain country. You don't know the future. We don't know who is going to come out of this conflict in one piece. We don't know if Israel is going to remain the same after this conflict. We don't know if there will be any reasonable development coming from Iran after this conflict. Either way, both sides have taken serious damage. I think the least damage in this conflict, okay, for me, right, US is losing soldiers, but they are not taking maximum destruction. US is not taking maximum pain, in my opinion, because like houses are not getting blown off. Like, it's the Israelis that are taking the whole Gulf. Persian Gulf is in trouble right now, and economically they will never be the same after this conflict. Some people will never be this. I know they have a lot of money, because doing business has changed. A lot has changed. Now I think Africa right now should have a rethink. We come every day, we talk about sovereignty. African president attends UN summits, they do all these things, they go to African Union summit and all of that. They talk. They just talk. Like, I am scared, family. Like, I am looking at the level of the negotiation. I'm talking about this is conflict at a level I have not seen before. When you look at the level of offensive capabilities that is traveling, and you look at the defensive capability, and you look at the empire real estate level of technology, we are seeing hypersonic missiles that are flying at God's speed. Like, we're seeing a lot of things. Africa, in fact, the only thing I think Africa has now is mouth. Common drone technology we don't have. Africa is in trouble, families. I'm now hearing South African politicians now saying that probably they will have to go back to their nuclear, whatever. I think they're now talking about returning to their nuclear. I don't know what nuclear, whatever they said they want to do now. South Africa is talking about it now, that they need to revisit their nuclear talks or something. Because this is a big eye opener to everybody right now, that man, this situation is crazy, and you better be prepared. You bet. Africa, I don't want to hear anything sovereignty from like most of these democratic leaders in Africa anymore. Oh, no, 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 no. Look, Africa is going to continue taking orders until they know that this is going, this like, looking at what is going on, honestly, I'm looking at the conflict and I'm asking myself, man, where are we? Where are we? We are still importing. What are we exporting? We don't even have good industrial complex where we produce things. Africans don't even produce washing machine, talk less of drone technology. So it begs the question, what kind of education are the Africans getting in 2026? Where politicians are still thinking about stealing money. The world is moving so fast, and they are moving progressively so fast. Africa is moving regressively so fast, and it's scary. It's even more scary that people are picking sides now. I love the AES. The AES is not even getting involved at all. I've not heard anything from Burkina Faso. I have not heard anything from Mali. I have not heard anything from Niger. They are staying on their business. They are managing issues at home. Come to think of it, the world has come to realize that having American boots on your ground, your sovereign ground, is not a security guarantee. Go and ask from the Persian Gulf. Go and ask from the people in the Persian Gulf. Having American boots on the ground is not a security. It will never be a security guarantee. If you don't know before, it's time that you find out. So for some of those that are not watching what is going on in the Persian Gulf, go and check. When it comes to capability, America is not even using the top grade of capability in some of those Persian Gulf states. Probably where I think Qatar has the best capability so far. But currently, we are seeing drones and missiles flying over Qatar at between 10 to 11:45. Drones are hitting targets like everywhere is Delta Hotel right now. No interception is going on as at some hours ago. And guess what? This war has entered a new phase. And this is the most destructive phase. Why am I saying this? That's why you hear that America is currently bombing right now. You can look every second right now that you spend without putting the enemy on the back foot, you're in trouble. Because between 10:30 to somewhere around 11 something, Israel is no longer shooting interceptors. Missiles are entering and they are landing free of charge. Now it only means one thing. You see, when Iran started overloading the air defense system of Israel, I was like, man, this is too fast. A lot of people were predicting 2 weeks. Your prediction will be based on the waves they are defending. And if you look at the waves, look, this was not a 12-day war. This was nothing like, I am looking at Iran shooting projectiles. They shot from morning, they shot till night. The first day, they shot from morning till night, back to the next morning. Everybody, I think what we are looking at now is adaptation on the fly. My God. So now interceptors has finished. That is why you saw that at a point, the American commanders knew that, look, we cannot sustain this defense. If you people have been following this news, you will hear that Donald Trump is currently saying that, yes, we have enough stockpile of interceptors. If not, that Joe Biden gave some things to, he gave Zelensky a name. He said they have interceptors that can go for a while. If you understand combat, that means the interceptors are depleting very, very fast. When you are in a fight and people are landing punches and you see that one of the fighters smile, that means he just got hit with something very, very big. So when you hear someone in this combat saying, I have, no, most especially if it's coming from the US, saying that they have, do you know how many interceptors they produce per year? Even if it's fake, it is unsustainable. America will supply Israel the Persian Gulf to the US. At least they cover some distance. Yes, they'll cover some distance. So right now, strategies are changing. Iran is trying to deplete whatever. I mean, now they are setting traps, because if you go to our Telegram channel, you see that a lot of things are being done. And I won't lie to you, if you're following any platform that is telling you that one side is bombing the other side more, or maybe one side is coming out on top right now based on level of exchange, that's a propaganda platform. Or probably, let me say, that individual loves a certain side more than the other side. Because as we speak, the only reason why you are not seeing so much devastation on the side of the Israeli is because there is heavy censorship going on. A Chinese guy was thrown behind bars this evening. A Chinese reporter. So, to be fair, Israel is bombing the hell out of Iran. In fact, Lebanon is cooked. At the same time, Iran is bombing nonsense out of Israel. But Israel, to me, looking at the first and second day, some missiles are landing in Israel. But since Iran started shooting the older stockpile, which are with the older technologies, I think Israel stood a better chance on the first 2 days. But I think they started shooting Kaiba since yesterday. And for the first time, an Israeli commander came out today on mainstream platform and he said, we have been able to discover that Iran has bunker busters. How did they find out? There was a missile that penetrated Bet Shemesh. It was not even hypersonic. It blew a complete building off. Then they shot the Khyber. The Khyber broke through the bunker. I know a lot of people have seen that video in Beit Shemesh where the bunker got busted. So now the Israelis are saying, now we know that they have capabilities that can actually blow off the fortifications. So now we are getting to a point where the Israeli interceptors, because the interceptors are done. I won't lie to you. Based on what I'm looking at this evening, Israel is running low. Now, I don't know if the US currently have a plan to resupply them. I don't know. I can't tell you that. I can't confirm anything. But based on what is going on this evening, if Iran shoots 700, I can guarantee you that 500 will land. They are landing without interception this evening. Is the situation is not good. Now, the best way for Israel to play defense, and that they are doing already right now, Israel and US have started bombing Iran heavily. So what does that mean? Now, while they are bombing, they are using the stealth drone to try to locate the interceptors, to try to locate the missile launchers, the vehicle-borne missile launchers. That means they are applying the rule of offense is the best form of defense. If we keep you busy enough to put you on the defense, you won't have enough time to think about attacking. Because if you let Iran breathe, Iran will pause the fire again. So we are now seeing back and forth. Now, US conclusively has lost their reputation. You see, that invisibility of America is here. The game is over. Right? They've lost that invincibility. Now everybody knows that US can be touched. CENTCOM just posted the picture of those American troops that lost their lives. Right, we've posted it on our Telegram. A lot is going on, and a lot of lies are being told at the same time. Iran said they've hit. They struck the USS Abraham Lincoln with 4 hypersonic missiles. I don't know if it's true or not. Today again, they said they just struck the USS Abraham Lincoln. What is it? Ladies and gentlemen, I think looking at what is going on right now, Africa is making a serious mistake. Number one, division in Africa is a mistake. It's a strategic mistake right now. Now I'm looking at the way the world is shifting, and I'm asking myself, are we not going back to that colonial era, truly, where Africa becomes the victim? Now I'm going to tell you something. Either you like it or not, Africa is going to return to becoming that mining field, that farm. I'm telling you, a lot of economies are suffering right now. Do you understand? US embassy in Dubai has just been hit. man, man. Macron warns Israel against advances into Lebanon. See, a lot is going on right now. And Emmanuel Macron has been talking scared. We are going to get to it. We are going to get to that. Okay? No, I want to be fair. Look, I have no relationship to Israel. I have no relationship with the United States. I have no relationship with Iran. Even though I have some sentiments for Iran, because Iran has not transferred that technology they promised to transfer to Burkina Faso. They've not transferred it. So I don't want Iran to go out by knockout until they've transferred that technology. But I have to be honest with my reporting. Right now, everybody is still, coming out guns are blazing. Now they are playing chess. Now we are saying limited but effective strike. An effective strike means efficient strike. Okay? In all honesty, if there is no censorship, you are seeing information from this side and this side, definitely you will know that a lot is going on. I think this war will go past. You will see action beyond 12 days. You know, people are now calling for mediation. Some of the Gulf countries are already, Saudi Arabia is already pressuring Russia to speak to Iran. You know, I think this war will go beyond 12 days. There is a certain side that is currently panicking. They are talking too much. They are holding a lot of press conferences. They are doing too much right now. And that's a sign of panic. When you are confident, when you know what you got, you don't have to panic. You don't have to talk too much. You know what you have. Right now, we are seeing Donald Trump coming out to say that earlier today, the US, I think, Department of State said Americans are on their own. If you know you are in the Gulf, you are on your own. Find your way back home. That was what they said. Now, this evening, they have now given notification that if you want to return back to the States, they have now made communications with so many, like, just they said you should mention the is it Homeland. They just drop a notification now through their official sources that they are ready to start picking people. You just apply on the website. You saw the news. Thank you very much. So you can't go from find your way. You are going from you are on your own to communicate with us. That's desperation. Now, I'm not saying that desperation means that something is about to go wrong or something. No. What I'm saying is now America is talking about boots on the ground. They are not talking about boots on the ground because they want to stamp their authority on a regime change objective. No. They are talking about boots on the ground because, to me, based on what I'm seeing already, the interceptors are drying up. And that means from now on, Israel will start taking some heavy beating. But so far, so good. Iran is playing it fair because China is picking the targets. China is involved. I don't know if a lot of people have informed you about the role of China. China is involved. China is the one doing the targeting with their Baidu system. That's why you see that Iran is so precise in this operation. They are hitting with so much precision. Okay? So now, in the middle of this escalation, the Strait of Hormuz have been closed. Now, the Yemeni Houthi, they are already making a threat that they will close the Bahrain Strait. Is it the Bahrain Strait? There's another strait that they are, they're not threatening that they will strike any Western vessel that is, that is going to go through that side. All of this is going to ramp up into something. Africa is not winning. Let me now explain to you properly. Maersk look, the price of oil has climbed, like it is climbing so fast. The price of gold is climbing so fast. It's a catch-22 for Africa. They can gain and they can lose. Now, you gain too much if you have sovereignty. You don't even gain anything. You're on the losing side if you don't even have sovereignty at all, which is the smallest thing you have at this point in time. The thing is, for Africa, most especially the African countries that are import economy, you are going to suffer. For the countries whose government only rely on stealing, plundering, you are going to suffer. Why? Now that the Strait of Hormuz have been closed and you don't know how long this war is going to last, I can tell you that America is getting frustrated because, now, getting frustrated doesn't mean you are panicking or it doesn't mean you are losing. You are frustrated because I think by nature, America wants to go very quick, crush everything, and go home. They like to finish it in the first 3 rounds by way of knockout. And when it comes to Donald Trump, he's the showman. He wants to come out on camera and be like, man, I told you I was gonna, that's what he likes to do. Look at the episode with the Fordo, the Isfahan, and the Netans, right? You saw what he did. But the strategy now, America has an objective coming into this fight, and depending on how you want to see it, they were able to accomplish that objective. Okay, the interceptors have dried up. Thank you. Depending on that objective, to them, neutralizing Ayatollah Khamenei was regime change for them. Neutralizing some top military commanders, to them, was regime change. America don't go into a mission, right? America don't go into a mission without objective. So the mission objective was, this operation is supposed to be maximum two weeks, 3 weeks, or like 4 weeks maximum. We should have devastated everything in Iran. But here is where the problem is. Iran is preparing for a war of attrition. A war of attrition necessarily don't mean you have to kill the leader. A war of attrition means you have to drain the enemy. You have to make the war more costly for the enemy. You have to make sure you decapitate the enemy capability in form of personnel, in form of equipment. Now, when you look at the way Iran is fighting, Iran is hitting all American base, meaning America will now have to be repositioning whatever capability they want to use. Now they no longer have those bases to just launch attacks now. So this is a very huge strategy. Like, that's why I said this is a chess match. They can no longer use the Bahrain, but they went from the forward base in Bahrain. The American soldiers went to the hotel. Iran hit the hotel. Now I'm beginning to think that the citizens of the Persian Gulf are beginning to drop locations. They are beginning to drop geolocations of the American troops. So it was very smart for the Americans to tell their citizens to start coming home. I'm telling you, that is what is going on now. There is no way you go to a certain hotel and Iran knows that you are in that hotel, and the next thing is that a drone is coming in. There is an incoming. So I think whatever the objective is to now get the Americans out. Man, they said they are going to plan on deploying 50,000 troops. Now, what do I think? I think this could be very, very ugly. Iran has more than 900,000 troops. It depends on what side you want. It depends on how you want to take it. A lot of guys are going to come home in some black bags. Let's just be honest with ourselves. So, like, okay. So, man, so when I look at the whole thing right now, I think we're about to enter a phase that is going to come with a lot of bloodshed, because right now I feel like Israel, the fact that the interceptors are drying up, they will now be hitting to frustrate. They will be hitting to make the enemy rethink. They will be hitting to cause a protest. Now, if you look at the level of bombing that is going on right now, they are carpet bombing. Like, when I hear the sound of the Israeli strike, I'll be like, what the hell is going on? Look, what the level of strikes they are carrying out right now is, man, devastating. Devastating. I won't lie to you. It's devastating. Iran is now playing another strategy. Iran is now getting decoy vehicles, using different strategy to make the Americans and the Israelis hit or possibly waste missiles, right? Because you're flying a fighter jet, you're flying a drone, there's a capacity of what you can hit. You hit, you go back to reload, then you come back again, right? So whatever happens, right, America must play it smart, because if they don't play it smart, this war will end in a devastating fashion. Because now I'm saying Iran, you can see that almost throughout today, what you are hearing is drone from Iran. This is attrition here. Iran is trying to frustrate the guys with that came with so much armada, that came with so much capabilities. Iran is trying to make it less costly right? On their own side, they are trying to make it very, very bad when it comes to costs for the Americans. Britain flew in their F-35 fighter jets. They shot down a drone of $50,000 or possibly $30,000. The whole generation of Shahid drone, they shot it down with firing from F-35. One of those missiles is like, let's say maybe $1 million. Gone, firing down. So it's you have to calculate the costs. You have to calculate the costs. Now, American bodies have been sent home. Now, the former commander of CENTCOM said something this evening. He said they are lying. He said the bodies that are being reported are not the actual bodies. He said they are probably more than that. Anybody that understands combat knows that this is true. You've ever been in the military in any capacity, the only way, okay, you know that they are telling the truth is if it comes from the enemy side. Right? Probably you see that sometimes the enemy will have to record the video and all of that. But when some people don't even report, we are seeing that a lot of MQ Reaper of different series are getting hit, but they are telling you that some of their F-15 fighter jets is friendly fire, is this, is that. This is war. War is deceptive. It's a chess game. You want to win. Being righteous without being righteous. Yes, nobody cares about you being righteous. And when you look at the American strategy, look at Russia. They were negotiating with the Americans. They tried to strike Vladimir Putin. The Russians came out with a ship and they said, we saw the targeting. You wanted to hit Vladimir Putin. And now you can see the same strategy with Iran. Now I understand that a lot of people are saying, oh, Americans are deceitful, they are this. No, this is war. This is what you call war games. Whatever you can do to come out on top, you do it. No, there is nowhere they wrote it where it was written that, oh, this is the direction you have to go. When it's full-blown war, that this is the direction you have to go. Like I said, there are some things that I have expected Iran to have done right now that they've not done. Like there are some things that Iran is supposed to have struck right now that would have, it would have been so significant. They've not done it. I don't know why they are waiting. I don't know if they have a bigger plan. I am not Iran. There are some things that the Americans and Israelis should have done, but they've not done it. So, and at that level, it's not abuse of international law. It's making life extremely difficult for the enemy, making communication very, very difficult, like making them tired. In fact, things that could really, really cause a protest in the enemy state, but they're not doing. Getting boots on the ground is not going to, like, how many boots do you want to get on the ground for a home team that have over 900,000 with air defense capabilities that are still in the underground cities? Now, the thing is, Iran says something today that they are currently producing. As they are firing, they are producing. Man, this is going to get ugly, let's be honest. The iron beam worked for probably 1 hour and it stopped working. The Israeli iron beam. And for the iron beam to work, it has to work with electricity, right? So I don't know why people have not actually taken out the power grids. I don't know why people have not actually taken out the communication grids. I can see that the nuclear reactors are getting blown up back and forth. Like Bushehr, there was a strike near Bushehr today. Yesterday, the Israeli, nuclear reactor have been struck. So it's back and forth. And at this point, Ayatollah can be, they got Ayatollah, right? But to think that you are going to get Larijani is impossible. These are young guys. These are guys that are not sick. These are guys that understand war. They understand the deception. They understand the war game. He said US Navy is still restrained because munition inventory in the region is low. Thank you, ma. Munition inventory is low. I saw it this evening. We are monitoring the whole thing. Satellite imagery confirm Iran struck US early warning radar in Qatar. They have almost destroyed all the early warning in the region. China is doing the targeting, which is very, very dangerous. If anybody have ever sat down to look at the way the Chinese think, those guys are not thinking on a normal. The Chinese don't think normally. Their own thinking is so smart to the point that it's abnormal, in my own opinion. Right? So it's going to be like, and I know there are smart guys on the other side too, right? The Chinese are looking at how can we make sure we paralyze those people. And now, this type of paralysis is a type of paralysis where the enemy does not know they are being paralyzed until they realize it. But before they act, the hour of regret is upon them. But, it is what it is. We never can tell, regardless. But I feel like this is going to be a long war. And I feel like the Iranians don't care if they all go at this point. You are dealing with an enemy. Like the first strategy of America was a failure. Hitting Ayatollah Khamenei at the beginning was very, very wrong, because you successfully unified the Iranians. Probably if you had a man on the American side before, probably maybe he's Sunni, you hit Ayatollah Khamenei, probably the wife might be Shia. Like, there is a way that you can see that they're currently mourning and still protesting. This is not going to be funny, right? And I think to the Americans, you see, one thing about a fight is it depends. You can actually adapt in the fight, but once in your head, mission accomplished, you are now meeting a kind of enemy that is ready to drag you long into the fight. You are going to break at some point, except you have unlimited capabilities. But I can tell you, mentally, the Americans, they are already out of this fight. Like to them, mission is completed. You can see that Donald Trump said they want to negotiate. We are trying. He said he's ready to talk. He said it. Then today he said he doesn't want to talk anymore, that the time is over. I'm telling you, the Americans, to them, the objective is complete. Now they want someone to talk about negotiation, and probably they will get the situation of what's the name of this country, Venezuela. But it's not going to happen. The Iranians are ready to fight you till all the cows come home. So it's a question of, are the Americans going to behave themselves? Yeah, they've not started using the Fatah 2. I think they used the Khyber once already, and the Khyber caused an enormous level of devastation. And now they've not even used the Koram Shah. This is going to be very, very bad. And I know what I'm saying. Okay? So, and I think the aim of Iran, right? The aim of Iran is to drive America out of the region completely. I don't know how it's going to go, but this is not a good war. No war is good, but this particular war is not so good. And one thing about attrition is this: you drag your enemy to the point that your enemy is going to lose so much capability. I'm talking about both human and material capability and economically, they are going to be hit very, very bad. I'm going to answer this question. They are going to be hit very, very bad, to the point where when they come out of that war, they will never remain the same. Russia told the Swedish representative, he said, we fought you for 21 years. Sweden was a strong power before they fought Russia. Russia fought them for 21 years, and after that 21 years, that was it for Sweden. Did you hear Sweden in any huge capacity anymore? Done and dusted. This is a real foe. They are really, really fighting a strong enemy this time around, and this fight is unprovoked. Whatever they call their reason, now to the world, morally, it's not justified. And when you are fighting a war where people don't support you, you are human. It affects you mentally. Most especially when you start taking casualty. Even though you are lying about the casualty, it starts sending a different message to the guys that are on the ground. Like, man, so I'm gonna die. Like, nobody's even gonna know that I'm gone. They're not even gonna tell the world that I'm like, this is what I did. Now, people are gonna hear at home, but it's not gonna be like it. It's not gonna work that way. So whatever happens, right? Tomorrow, like I said tonight, I said I am giving the US and Israel tonight. What I saw tonight was so bad to the point that I said I am going to give them this night till probably 3 p.m. in the afternoon tomorrow. If Iran continue to shoot without interception like that, I think after 3 weeks, somebody is going to start begging for negotiation. I am serious. And according to Iran, they will shoot the... Look, let me give you one clue. You see, when you see Iranian incoming, the incomings of Iran, if you can see it, those are the old stockpile. If you can see the movement, is the old stockpile. And they are shooting the old stockpile. Some are getting through because, you know, the system is getting overwhelmed. I understand. You see the ones that are entering very fast? Those ones are the fast ones. Those ones are the latest generation. Now, Iran is saying we want to reduce their stockpile to nothing. Then we start firing the new generation. What is going to happen? So, to be honest, I am indifferent. I don't support any side. Left to me, I will want everybody to play draw and everybody should go back home. But to be honest, the way this war is going, I cannot predict, because now I will want everybody to play draw, because if everybody play draw, Iran will be able to keep his bad boy status. America will go home. Donald Trump will will look for one excuse. Yeah, we knock the Ayatollah out and stuff like that. And, you know, it will do his thing, and, you know, everybody, but people will know, man, like, bro, you got this, you got embarrassed right there. Okay. And the world is going to suffer a little bit. This is embarrassing already. Okay. This is very, very embarrassing. And we are now seeing the clowns. We are seeing the clowns right now. So I want everybody to play draw. But if they play draw, Iran is the winner. Iran, if they come out with negotiation right now, Iran is the winner of the war. And I can tell you something. No matter, even Turkey, nobody in the Persian Gulf is touching Iran right now. Like, do you know what it means for one country, unknown, according to the West, unknown country, godless people, to be serving up to 8 countries at the same time? Like, Iran is serving everyone like, man, take this and go home. Like, everybody is getting it. Israel, US, like, man, this is, see, already the fact that Iran is still standing is embarrassing. Families, you don't understand. The fact that Iran is still standing is embarrassing. This is US, Israel, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan, Cyprus, Diego Garcia, Britain. Like, come, Take your own and go home. That's what we are seeing right now. America with this old armada. This is not good for the reputation of the empire. This is ugly. Now, what is the negative side of this whole escalation that is going on right now? Iran is dealing with an enemy that will do anything to save face. Mark Rutte was asked, is NATO going to get involved? He said he doesn't think NATO is already involved, right? America is involved. That's America is NATO. So Mark Rutte should go and sit down. Mark Rutte should sit down forever. There's nothing he's going to do. See, the best fighters in NATO are already fighting. So go home and sit down. These are the best fight. See, look, when you want to play football, you put your best legs in your starting 11. These are the NATO starting 11. It doesn't get better than that. Any other look, the cream of the crop of NATO, right, is getting that work right now in the Persian Gulf. Like, who in hell would have believed that Iran would have responded? How dare Iran? That is going to be the language of the empire. You know, the empire have come to a point where they slap you. If you return the slap, it's like, how dare you? So what we are seeing right now is an embarrassment. So the longer it goes, the more the embarrassment, and the more the world is going to start having a rethink about the empire. The dollarization is now going to go full throttle. You can see that the price of gold is flying. It's flying because people are beginning to have a rethink about everything. Now, let me now tell you another ugly part. The Gulf states are beginning to realize that the entire military base was never about them. One of the UAE, is it the UAE? No, the Kuwait foreign minister said, why was their base here in the first place? Every drone strike to Kuwait was a hit back to back. Every drone strike to Kuwait was a hit. And now they are beginning to ask the question. Look at the number of American base you have there. Now, guess what? The funny aspect of this thing is that if you look at all the bases, they were pointing when the Chinese showed, oh my, look, China is the most dangerous player here that people are not seeing. China is playing a very dangerous game. The Chinese are saying, according to their analysis, that all the bases of the US, that the entire agenda was to destroy Iran. They analyzed the positioning of the Bahrain. Like, even the ones that were far away, they had early warning radar system. Like, the whole agenda of America was to create an encirclement. And guess what? It backfired. Because nobody, look, this is how you know Iran prepared for this war. The fact that Iran is serving all the bases at the same time. And guess what the Americans are doing now? They are running away. They ran from the base. They went to the hotel. Those that did not evacuate the base, they got served. No, this is not the 72 version at this point. They got served, right? They ran to the hotel. They got served in the hotel. Probably the CIA asset that were in the embassy, they got served too. Now the next, hey man, Iran is driving everybody crazy right now. Do you know Iran is now eating the embassies? It's like Iran is saying, I don't want to see. Look, the biggest disrespect is if everybody is telling you, man, you are the baddest guy in the house, right? And you fight this guy you are supposed to beat up, and you fight to a point where People are now telling, now you have to talk it out. Like you can't win this fight, right? You're supposed to be the Asarailu, right? Both of you are now exchanging punches. Then now both of you are now sitting. Then I ask Iran, right? They are, what do you want? And Iran is like, we don't want, we don't want to see you in the Persian Gulf again. Because I can guarantee you, if there is going to be any negotiation, Iran is going to be negotiating from a place of overwhelming strength. Because now Iran knows that, you know what? You are not invincible. I can touch you. US soldiers are dying. Like, before, it used to be like, man, this is a US soldier. Don't touch him, man. Like, look at this Scott Ritter, right? Scott Ritter said, man, if you hit the USS Abraham Lincoln, you're going to get a nuke. Where is the nuke, bro? Because now you know why it's embarrassing. Everybody is saying America cannot win a conventional war. It's more embarrassing because it's America and Israel. So, two nuclear states battling a non-nuclear state in a non-conventional war, and it's looking as if the non-conventional state is slapping the two, like it's a back and forth, right? But if you look at the calibration, like you look at the calculus properly, Iran is going to, if Iran stays, if Iran, look, the only thing for Iran to do right now is survive this fight. And it's not going to come out, nobody is coming out in one piece. America has taken their loss. Israel is going to take more. Iran is going to take a lot. But the mentality is different. Iran celebrates death. The other side are scared of dying. There are levels to this fight. And if Iran can survive, look, if you are the coach of Iran right now, just tell them, bro, survive this fight. All you need to do is like, just make sure you survive this fight. If Iran comes out of this fight, I'm telling you, Iran will be respected in the Persian, like people will consult Iran in the Persian Gulf before they move mad. Now, this is where the problem is. If it gets embarrassing for the empire, and if you look at the people that are advising Donald Trump, if you look at the Lindsey Graham, you look at that cohort, I kind of feel like Pete Exit, those are the yes boys. Those are the yes boys. The JD Vance, those are the yes boys. I think the one that is even more dangerous is Marco Rubio. But I think Pete Exit, JD Vance, those are the, whatever Trump says, and funny enough, those are the ones that are going to be advising Trump, right? And the Israeli lobby and all of that. Now, when somebody can sit down with you and you are making a very bad move, and the person can tell you, hey man, you are making a mistake, you have a chance in life. But when you are with people that, even when they know you are crashing out, they know your ego is up there, and they still want to caress your ego, even though they know you are crashing out, then you are in trouble. You are in a very serious trouble. And the problem that Donald Trump is in right now is that what's the name? JD Vance and the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, they know the personality of Donald Trump. And what those guys have been doing for the longest is like, man, let's just tell Trump what he wants to hear. And what is it that Trump wants to hear? We are winning. I was looking at a speech of Trump today. I was like, bro, you don't understand nothing about war. You are not a general. You've never served in the army. Like, he's talking as if he knows what he's saying. I was like, come on now. So you see all this Trump coming out on the media. They're going to give him some facts. But I'm telling you, there are some lies that are being told to him. He's not a soldier. He doesn't understand, right? Trump looks exhausted. Thank you. He can see some things. They are sitting down in the command control room together. They are watching everything that is going on based on satellite imaging, CENTCOM reporting, different things. And I can tell you, before CENTCOM report anything, they would have told them, no, don't put that number, put this number. Oh, we lost 40, don't put 40, put 4. A lot of people don't understand war. War is propaganda. War is propaganda. Now, the reason why I believe that Iran is coming out with a realistic data, they are in the Ramadan period. They have nothing to lie about. They are being honest, but they are playing it smart. And now, to have killed Khomeini in the Ramadan period makes him go beyond the level of a martyr. You are making him a god. This war, if you think they are going to come and negotiate right now, that if not smashed you to the stone age, then you have to think again. So now it's at a level where somebody has to beat somebody up to the point that is obvious before we can have a conversation. That is the level we are right now. Now you see, inflation is going to climb in Africa because whatever you are importing, because the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the price is going to go up. Most African countries are importing economy. Some people are exporting cocoa, some people are exporting a lot of other things, but African countries are importing economy. Now, we have Dangote refinery in Nigeria. Is it going to benefit? No, it's not going to benefit. Nigeria is a country that in fact, these are people that sometimes they will make sure that they build, there is a way to engineer inflation in economy. Some people engineer inflation based on the position they occupy. Now, this is an opportunity. They see it's business. Dangote is a private company. This is not Nigeria. If it's a national company, then you have a chance. Nigeria has how many refineries? It was a big regret to me because I was like, man, this is time for the country to grow. But Dangote is the only functioning refinery. Now they don't care. It's time to make money. They are going to follow the global inflation because it is the barrel of crude that has increased, not refined spirit or its product. It's the barrel of crude. Now, the barrel of crude coming out expensive means the final product will even be more expensive. Hence, the fuel price will go up. Crude price go, the fuel price will triple because crude is supposed to be very, very cheap. Now, because it's cheap, your transportation and every other thing will make the price of what you are importing smash through the roof. And here's the problem. So it's going to cause multiple chain of inflation. The European Union is going to suffer the most. Now they've told Ukraine to have a rethink on what's the name of this pipe. I think the Druzhba pipe. They said they should start looking at the Druzhba pipe once more, that Ukraine should try and reopen the Druzhba pipe. Now the enemy you've sworn not to go back to, you are about to go back to that enemy. No, I think because of Vladimir Putin, right? Vladimir Putin will try to, I think Vladimir Putin loves the West. He will still try to be nice to them. But if it was Medvedev, it would have been a different thing entirely. Now, it's going to affect us economically and all of that. But we have some very, very important information that is coming out in this situation. Emmanuel Macron is now saying some things that are scary. He said, I have ordered that we increase the number of nuclear warheads on our arsenal, as they will no longer as we will no longer communicate on the figure of our nuclear warhead. I think even though some people are supporting the United States, they are saying that on the international scale, they are so irrelevant because Israel and the US, they are giving you guys orders. It's not like they are making you look like you are useless, but they are just they're like they are like you don't control nothing. The UK has tactical nukes, right? The UK has some capacity, but personnel capability, the UK is nothing, right? Personnel capability. I know they have the SAS and all of that. How many active combat ready personnel do they have? France, that surrendered to Adolf Hitler in 2 weeks. Look, even if Macron is telling is giving orders to his military industrial complex to increase the number of troops, no matter what happened, if you are not like that, you are not like that. I can tell you categorically that the strongest military in the world is the Russian military right now, then followed by the United States military. Those are the two like most rugged military in the world. I'm talking about the will to like the will to crash out. If crashing out is the only option that is left, not everybody can do that. To be honest, America might be getting slapped by Iran, but they are slapping Iran even heavily, right? But it's a back and forth. So because everybody feels like this is America, is supposed to knock every slap is supposed to be a knockdown slap, right? But Iran is returning, makes it look as if, you know, North Korea is behind on technology. I'm talking about drone technology. There is a lot, right? Russia and US are the greatest superpowers. Like when it comes to military, like on nuclear warhead, on like men, but on active fighting on the ground based on combat experience of personnel, the Russians are different right now. But I think based on sheer intelligence, technical know-how, and when everything don't seem to work, pure ruggedity, I think it's Russia, then is the United States. Forget Ukraine. You know, United States is a collection of so many different people from different environments. But one thing you can definitely guarantee about the US that they can be very very rough. If you want to play, like they can be very very rough. Let's not speak because we hate the empire or we dislike the actions of the empire and not just talk about the obvious. Like if it gets to like real war, like do you know how the US soldiers train? Like they train with bullets, like unlimited number of like these guys spend money and their guys really really know how to fight for real. But they might be having bad generals sometimes, but like these guys don't care. But it's just that the American public don't like to lose soldiers. But if it has to come to it, they can really really fight, especially when they have a legitimate reason to fight, right? But right now they don't have a legitimate reason to fight, and they are trained in the conventional style. So when the enemy is now using asymmetric warfare and the enemy is dragging them for too long, the fatigue start coming in, the exhaustion start coming in, then there is a problem. Politically there's a problem, so they end up losing the war, they end up pulling out, they end up going home. So which is why I think they might, I don't know, I feel like if this war becomes very embarrassing for the empire, they might start using tactical nuke. They might start using tactical nuke. And you know, international law don't apply to those people. You might be deceiving yourself. Everybody is talking about international law. At this point, I think international law is made for African countries. I am not counting those people out from using tactical nuke. But if Iran has not also built some nuke somewhere, then they will be stupid. because you are fighting against people that don't understand that there is a certain fight, right? That is righteous. ICC is a waste of time. You are fighting people that don't understand. Like, all they understand is that do whatever you need to do to make sure you get the job done. So the fact that they are still exchanging with Iran and it's getting embarrassing, it's even surprised. I'm very, very surprised. I'm shocked. So, I mean, looking at everything that is going on right now, I think what Emmanuel Macron is saying concerning nuclear weapon, I think Emmanuel Macron is trying to put himself in trouble, because I think Russia already has their full attention on France. And talking about the fact, publicly saying you want to increase your number of nukes, it doesn't make you special. It only makes the people that want to break your teeth, it only makes them focus on you even more. That, man, you are not moving smart, and we're about to knock you out. And you can see that France is gradually stopping. They're trying to stop the Russian shadow fleets. And if they go, and if France start, if their bodies start, something might happen. And I can tell you it might be very bad. Now, that's on one side. I feel like they're making a mistake, making a bold declaration through Emmanuel Macron. Now, I feel like on the other side of things, the biggest mistake of France, no, I think the other side of things, France is now coming out to talk about these things, because France is looking at it that the US and Israel might turn on them some days, and it will be like you will be left alone. You will be practically left alone. I think everybody is beginning to look at things now, and reality is beginning to dawn on everybody, like, man, it could be you. Turkey is a NATO country, right? But they are already saying the next threat to Israel is Turkey. This is the Abrahamic agenda, the so-called Abrahamic Accord that they are talking about, in play. They said the next country is Turkey. Is Turkey as strong as Iran? No, I don't think so. This is going to get ugly. We are looking at a very, very dangerous develop. We're looking at a dangerous development right now. A very dangerous development. It's easier to knock out those drones, actually. Iran is a serious threat right now. If Iran has those type of silos where you can launch missile from, then I think Iran would have, had a very, very sophisticated chance. But they have mobile launchers. It's very hard to find mobile launchers, but we are seeing some of the mobile launchers getting destroyed. So I feel like France is also scared of Germany, because um Metz has currently been talking about Germany trying to build the strongest military in Europe once again. And I think, you know, Macron is looking at it like, man, we just have to be strong. And now I'm going to talk about Africa again. He said they have to be strong to the point where people have to be scared of them. He now talked about that nobody will be able to threaten their interests. And at this point, I will say this: African states needs to wake up. They need to harm themselves. I'm not talking about buying equipment. When you buy, you are a fool. Why am I saying that? Right now, the UAE countries, like I told a lot of people, I've been saying it for a long time. When you see, money, sometimes money is not valuable. You can have money and you are still not independent. But when you use your money to acquire true value, you can be independent. The only reason why Iran stands a chance right now is that the Iranians can produce their things. by themselves. The Qatari have never looked at it like we need it. They feel like we can buy. What if those you are trying to buy from once one day just tell you that don't worry, we are not selling again? What happens to you? And I think Iran is the biggest problem, and that's why they are fighting this war right now. They know that for the Qataris and the rest, they just have to shut the imports, of those capabilities, and it's over. They will wipe them out clean. In fact, those ones will submit. That's why you see that there's a lot of puppets among them. No honor, no integrity, no strategy, no vision, no nothing. Just money, ruling with impunity, creating problem in Sudan. So, for me, I think it's time for Africa to have a rethink, because when it gets very dirty at the top, the only place they fundamentally remember to go back to is Africa. And if Africans are not careful, there is a chance that if things get so rough, Africa might have to be recolonized again. If it gets so rough at the top. So unity is no longer optional. It's mandatory now. Anybody stopping the unity of Africa right now is a threat to the security of the continent. I'm talking about unity on defense. I'm talking about unity among the country, not unity based on African Union. No. Because it would have been better if the Arabs were, if the Arabian states, the Persian Gulf states, if they were united right now, it would have been better for them. But they are divided. Look at them. Look at how stupid their situation looks like. And look at Africa. So divided. So, I mean, this is the threat that is emerging currently. And I also feel like Russia is not taking the advantage right now. Russia is not doing what I'm expecting them to do. And they might end up regretting it. How much soldiers do they want to lose? I think Iran has given Russia the opportunity to completely annihilate Ukraine right now. That's what I think. I think Russia should perplex Ukraine right now, because Israel is now the priority. All the money, all the supply will now go to Israel. And Ukraine will be somehow left alone. So China can take care of supplies to Iran if the going gets tough. I think it's time. And I think the plan of the West for Russia through the proxy of Ukraine is to weaken Russia. And if they think they are not being weakened, then they are lying to themselves voluntarily. So I think this is an opportunity for Vladimir Putin to reduce Ukraine to nothing. That even if there is something positive that happens in the Iran conflict, by the time you get back to Ukraine, the war is almost over. So if Vladimir, because Russia-Ukraine war is now in the 5th year. I think if it is Medvedev, Ukraine will regret being in existence right now. I kind of don't like the style of Vladimir Putin sometimes, because this war is existential. The West want to balkanize Russia, they want to destroy Russia, they want to see Russia fall. They feel like Russia is too big. They want to take part of the resources of Russia. Like, there is a lot of problem for Russia right now. And if Putin is not still learning right now based on everything that is happening in Iran, then he will never learn anything again. And if care is not taken, he will just end up like Ayatollah Khamenei. They've tried to assassinate him several times. The last time it was a drone strike, they were targeting him in his building, right? In his residence. But the Russian air defense, the Russians were capable and all of that. I think this whole Ukraine is our brother narrative, it's over. It's over at this point. A lot of Russians have died. Russian citizens, Russian civilians, Russian servicemen. Like, do what you got to do right now. Ukraine doesn't have the production capability. Let's be honest with ourselves. Russian produce. So if Iran is getting people busy, right? Man, take that opportunity and slap the hell out of Ukraine. Possibly, decapitation strike is very, very legitimate. If some people are violating international law, like if I am Vladimir Putin, Ukraine will be history by the time they are done in Iran. By the time they are done in Iran, Ukraine will be history. And it will be very difficult for them to negotiate a ceasefire with Iran. So I expect Russia to have like perplexed Ukraine right now, because I know Ukraine is not going to get Patriot anytime soon. They're not going to get it TAD anytime soon. So, I mean, that is what we have right now. And there is protest in Nigeria right now. Massive, massive protests. Massive protests in Nigeria going on. And some Nigerians are saying they should pack them to Iran so that they can go and fight for Islamic faith. May So finally, I have something to say, right? If Africa knows that they are not going to strengthen themselves militarily right now, that they are not going to start strengthening themselves, if the citizens don't think that they need to start building up themselves militarily right now, then they should forget about sovereignty. Sovereignty is not words of the mouth. You know, okay, more than 650 US personnel. Oh God. So the casualty continue to pile up, right? So I will say this, right? Africa needs to unite. But again, at least Africa needs to have a nuclear power. I don't know if it will be South Africa. Africa needs to have a deterrence. It is very, very essential. Africa needs deterrence right now. And Africa needs to be thinking in the direction of industrial complexes for almost anything and everything if possible. People buy cars, you are still buying cars and you are happy. Like some people are producing cars. Cars are getting busted in Iran, they are producing another one. Iran manufacture everything they use. They have uranium, they have almost everything. That's why they can fight a long war. You want to destroy the nuclear, the nuclear facility, destroy it. You can't destroy this. Do you know how many scientists they have? Do you know how many engineers they have? So we need a very strong power in Africa right now. And it's not something that needs to be public. It doesn't need to be public. A united Africa can be sanction proof. Africa is the only continent that does not need anything from anybody. But first of all, before we get to that point where we can say we don't need anything from anybody, we have to we have to redefine our domestic priorities. Africa should start moving towards the productive economy, not just export. Africa should be thinking independence in the realistic sense of it, not just shout sovereignty. No, I think that's the direction we should start thinking now. And to complete that mission, We need to come together. We need to and foremost wipe out the terrorists. So until Africa, kind of understand the threats that they are facing, and so that this agenda can, so that it won't succeed. That is why a lot of African leaders have been compromised even before they got selected. That is why a lot of African leaders, as we speak right now, a lot of African leaders, you know, they don't even know what they are doing. That's why there is terrorism. So that these people will never have the initiative. They will never ever sit down one day and think, let's develop, let's build capabilities, let's have our own. You will never, because your citizens are busy asking you. Man, Africa, I don't see it. Citizens are busy asking the government to first of all de-escalate the tension of terrorism. So how do you want to think developing at a point, at the level of building industrial capabilities, industrial capacities, right? So for me, I think this is the new reality of Africa now. This is the new reality of Africa. Because today, based on the way rockets are flying back and forth, and the technologies and all of that, I told myself, I was like, man, Africa is messed up. Like if an invader comes to Africa right now, I think they walk through. They will walk through Africa. Putting yourself under somebody's umbrella, nuclear umbrella, protective umbrella, you are not still independent. AES state, right? So for me, yeah, I feel like the AES needs to be very close to Zimbabwe. Anti-war protests just broke out in DC. That's a good development. I think the AES needs to be very, very close to Zimbabwe. Central African Republic needs to be very close to them. Madagascar needs to be very close to them. I think this 6 countries now, they need to start having meetings. They need to start showing that proximity, because these 3 states I've mentioned, they have good level of sovereignty, and they are very close to Russia too. So I think Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Central African Republic, Zimbabwe, Namibia, right? Yeah, Namibia is one of them. Namibia is surely one of them. Namibia is one of them. Then Madagascar, you know, Namibia, Botswana, and I think there's one other country down south too. I think we are looking at unification cause happening naturally in Africa. It's happening naturally in Africa. We are not forcing it, it's just happening because ideologies are beginning to align, and it means that the future is very, very bright. So this is the direction I'm going to say Africa needs now, because anybody that is studying this conflict that is going on, and that is why I want to say thank you to Burkina Faso right now and the Alliance of Sahel States for being the only bloc in Africa that have, given their support to Iran, and um they've asked for transfer of technology, which I think Iran is so honest to the point that they are going to share that technology. That I am sure of. But we'll continue to monitor the situation and we'll continue to bring you updates. So I want to ask a question, family. Should I give you updates about this conflict, or should we just continue on our part? I want to get about I want to get about 5 responses on the screen now. Should I both? Both? Okay. I'm waiting for 3 more. Africa, both, both. Okay, both. We go with both. So, um, I'm going to give you a well detailed update. I'm going to bring people that understand this conflict. Like, it's going to be good. We're going to give both. So if we have a military success, if we have diplomatic success, if we have something great going on in the alliance of Sahel, I'm going to bring it. If whatever happens in the Russia Ukraine, we are going to bring the update. And if you look at my analysis today, I have not lean towards any side. I'm just giving analysis based on the calculus of combat or based on what we are seeing. So don't let anybody lie to you. There is a back and forth, but there is censorship. Please don't let anybody lie to you about that too. There is censorship of information from the Western side. Let's be honest. Journalists have been stopped. They are only giving out information that they feel like you should see. Okay, they feel like, okay, this particular bombardment is good enough for people to see. Because if I believe that if there is free information and we can see what is going on both sides, a lot of people might be begging on behalf of Israel right now, but I can't say, because there is bombardment on the other side too. So we'll continue to monitor the information, and I'll see you tomorrow. I will see you today with so much more information. Thank you, families, and God bless you for coming. A luta continua, Victoria Santa. We'll continue to move.